people will try to put a story on you. Good for you if the story that they assign to you is a positive one, but bad for you if people decide that you're horrible and awful, and anytime you breathe, it's to be mean or be rude or be this. And I hope that you have enough self-awareness in your character, enough kind of understanding of who you are as a person to be like, well, wait a second. Am I those things? I'm gonna be very honest with you, and I just wanna do a disclaimer. I have a problem with when I'm honest. I am a very emotional person. So when I give people real, honest advice, I tend to be a little monotone. I want you to hear the message without any feelings behind it because I'm scared that I'm gonna get emotional and then it can be overwhelming. Yes, I'm abrasive. Yes, it's the way I talk. I can't help it, baby. Please, I do not mean it in a bad way. I mean it in a good way. How do I make myself stand out? I don't mean only for auditions, for interviews and assignments. I have a hard time thinking about what differs. First of all, if you feel any similar, and there's no shame in feeling that way, that's something you will deal with for the rest of your life. Who am I? How do I stand out? What are my skills? What am I good at? Why do people like me? I recommend every year you do an assessment on yourself. This is something that I do. I sit down, I take a piece of paper, and I go, what do I like? What do I not like? Where do I think I'm a good friend? Where do I think I'm a bad friend? What are some things about me that I want to discover this year, that I want to go towards? Because Nina, who is not a singer, will not be releasing 6 covers in 2023. Nina, who says, I want to be a singer, will release 6 covers in 2023. And I know it sucks to hear, but a lot of self-awareness, that's what it is. It's self-awareness. And for me, the way that I've gained a lot of self-awareness is to kind of sit down and think about it, right? You sit down and you think, how do I become self-aware? What am I thinking about? Who am I? What do I want to do? And remember, your identity sort of shifts throughout your life. And this is my best example for you is singing, right? If I am coming in here and I am saying, I am not a singer, then I don't pursue music. But Nina, who says, I want to be a singer, I went to my vocal teacher twice a week, 30 minutes, we're doing ear training, pitch training. 90 minutes a week, we're doing singing. I am committing to 6 covers in genres that I'm not ready for, right? Nina, who decides that her identity is I'm a singer, will do things differently. Now, another thing you can do that is a little bit of a life hack and a little bit of a cheat is you can ask your loved ones. Now, when you're telling me, your fox mom on the internet, Nina, how do I stand out? Baby, I don't know you like that. But you know who does? Your friends, your family, your loved ones, even maybe work acquaintances. And I know it's scary to go up to a work acquaintance and be like, hey, can I talk to you? What was your first impression when you met me? What do you think really stands out about me? What do you think I'm really good at this job? And maybe little things can kind of start helping you form out your identity. And from there on, you can decide, well, I don't want to do this. If your coworkers say, honestly, when I first met you, I thought you were a bitch. I thought you were mean. And you can decide, well, okay, I don't want my coworkers to think that. So every time I'm going to come into work, I'm going to have a big smile on my face and say, good morning, everybody. And maybe that's going to change. But I know it sucks that you have to do all this work, but that's just life. If you don't do this, you end up being not self-aware. And I think we all lack self-awareness here and there, but especially if you're auditioning, I think it's really, really important to know who you are and who you're not, because people will try to put a story on you. You're a villain. You're a sweetheart. You're dumb. You're this. You're kind. You're mean. And good for you if the story that they assign to you is a positive one and anything you do is absolved and anything you do is like, oh my goodness, she's just so nice. But bad for you if people decide that you're horrible and awful and anytime you breathe, it's to be mean or be rude or be this. And I hope that you have enough self-awareness in your character, enough kind of understanding of who you are as a person to be like, well, wait a second. Am I those things? And I know people are gonna tell you, don't care about what others think, don't care about what others see. That's BS. We've all heard streamers talk about it, the mental toll that being online in front of so many people does to all of us, positive and negative, right? And sometimes, you know, your character shifts, your self-awareness shifts, you discover new things in life. Your personality is not static. I think I became a worse person during quarantine. And I don't know if I've talked about it properly, but I think I became a little bit more defensive. I became a little bit more negative. And genuinely, I think in my last year in this last year in Niji, I think that kind of just kept going, where I really just became so defensive and things like that. But then I have friends who during quarantine, they became better people. They became more patient, more kind, more loving. So that is also a thing. Your personality will always kind of shift. It will change around, but it's up to you to sit down and kind of reel it back in and think, okay, well, which way am I going? Do I want to be somebody who's defensive over every little thing? Do I want to be somebody who is abrasive over every little thing? There are some things that, you know, I won't be able to change. Like the way that I talk, it's so ingrained in who I am. You know, when I first met Anna and Millie, they both said they were a little intimidated because when I talk like this, it can be a little scary and intimidating. But now that they've met me and now that they talk to me, they're like, now I can tell when you're saying those things, how kind you are and how nicely you mean it. But, you know, if you don't know me and I talk like this, it's a little intimidating. It's like, whoa, mama, your tone. But yeah, unfortunately, I cannot answer your question of how do you stand out. That's just stuff that you're going to have to work on. And trust me, once you figure out your strengths and how you stand out, you're going to have to keep doing that forever. You don't just figure out who you are once and that's it forever. Life is always changing. You're always changing. Things are always changing. Your personality is always sort of malleable. Not everyone is meant to be good at math. The same goes for anything like streaming. I disagree. Not everyone is good at math. Sure. You know what makes you good at math? Going to class, listening to the lesson, doing your homework, preparing for the exam. And this idea of a good streamer or a bad streamer is also what makes a good streamer, what makes a bad streamer. I used to think that people whose content I did not like were bad streamers. Because I don't like their content, they're a bad streamer. But that's not true. Even if you don't like someone's content, or you don't like the game they play, or you don't like their tone of voice, or you don't like their attitude, doesn't mean they're a bad streamer. They're a good streamer for someone else. You and I both know so many people who average 50, 100 viewers, 10 viewers, who are probably better comedians, better entertainers, better production value than some of us will ever be. And that's okay. One thing I can maybe give you advice for is get rid of the idea that content is bad and content is good. Yes, some content is made better than other content. Let's be honest. Your first stream will probably not be as good as your 10th year of streaming, but there's so many variables that come into content and streaming. There's so many variables that come into YouTube and YouTube videos. There's so many niches. There's so many things. Anyone can do anything. Content is content and the rest is preference. I agree. I mean, we've seen paintings being sold for millions of dollars, and I'm sure you've heard it. People go, I can draw that. But it's not just art. It's also marketing. It's also so many other things. I do believe if you keep creating really good content, it can rise to the top, but you will also need some good marketing behind it. It's not just your stream. It's not just what you do on stream. It's what you do off stream. It's the friendships that you make and play together so that you're always in people's psyche together. It's the plan you have for the next week. There's so much in it. But do I think anybody can do it? Yes. I think anybody can be a streamer, even if you look a certain way, even if you talk a certain way. You don't have to listen to my advice. I'm just a fox mom on the internet, but I am sharing my opinion on what I feel and how I think about content. Sure, you can be awful at math, but you know, go to class, study, do extra homework, prepare for your exam. Suddenly, hey, you passed your math exam. You don't need to have 100. You just need to pass. It's the same thing for a NIJISANJI or a Hololive audition. You don't need to be the best. You just need to pass. I think if the person is trying to stream and trying to take it seriously, I don't think there's bad streamers. People are learning. People are developing their skills. That's it.